Hi guys, so in today's lecture we will be looking into the chapter Center-State Relations. So before we look into this chapter, I recommend you to read Lakshmikant chapter Center-State Relations. I'll be only discussing the important points from the chapter. Okay, let's begin. Center-state relations can be studied under three heads. What are they? Legislative relations, administrative relations, financial relations. So, in this video, we'll be looking into the legislative relations and financial relations. Okay, first one, legislative relations. Articles 245 to 255 in part 9 of the Constitution deals with legislative relations with center and state. Territorial extent of center-state relations. What are they? The parliament can make laws for the whole or any part of the country. State legislature, on the other hand, can make laws for the whole or part of the state. Okay. Now, Parliament alone has extraterritorial legislation. Thus, the laws of the Parliament are applicable to Indian citizens and their property in any part of the world. Okay, exceptional cases. The President can make regulations regarding the Union territories and it has the same effect as that of an act of the Parliament. So, what does President make? President is making regulations. Regulations are enforceable by law. Like when you break regulations, you can be punished. Okay. Governor is empowered to direct that an act does not apply to a scheduled area in a state. For example, Governor of Assam may direct that an act of Parliament does not apply to tribal areas. Okay. Threefold distribution of legislative subjects. What are they? The union list, state list, and concurrent list. Okay, union list is those subjects. It includes subjects that are under the direct control of the center. In the case of state list, it's under state. Concurrent list, it's a mutual understanding basis. Like when there is a fix between two state and union, the opinion of the parliament will be the ultimate choice. Okay, we'll discuss it in the coming sessions. Okay, the 42nd Amendment Act of 1976 transferred 5 subjects to the concurrent list from state list. What are they? Education, forest, weights and measures, protection of wild animals and birds, administration of justice. Now, 101st Amendment Act has made special provision with respect to Goods and Services Act. The Parliament and State Legislature has the power to make laws with respect to GS2 imposed by the Union or state. In the case of interstate commerce, the Parliament has the exclusive authority to make laws with respect to GST. The power to make laws with respect to residuary subjects. So, what are residuary subjects? These are not listed in any of the list. That is, it is not listed in union list, state list, or concurrent list. And it is who determines laws based on that. It is by the Parliament. This residuary power of legislation includes the power to levy residuary taxes. So, there are some residuary subjects which are not in any of the list. So, we can impose taxes on these also. For example, cryptocurrency. Cryptocurrency is not something that is not in any of the list. So, what will happen? Parliament can make laws and collect taxes from cryptocurrency also. Okay, it is possible. The Constitution expressly secures the predominance of the union list over the state list and the concurrent list over the state list. In the case of a conflict with center and state law regarding a subject in the concurrent list, we told you the center law prevails. The Parliament can make laws in special cases in subjects under state list. When Rajya Sabhas, what are the cases in which Parliament can make laws on things that are listed in state list? First one, when Rajya Sabha passes a resolution, such a resolution must be supported by special majority. Okay, there is 2/3 of the members present and voting. The resolution remains in force for how much time? For 1 year. It can be renewed n number of times. In case of inconsistency between a state law and a parliamentary law will prevail. Second case is during a national emergency. Expiration of such laws is 6 months after the emergency has ceased to operate. The power of the state to make laws on the same matters are restricted. Now, third case is when the states make a request. A law so enacted applies only to those states which have passed the resolutions. Now, the fourth case is that to implement international agreement, the parliament can make laws in any matter in the state list for implementing the international treaties, agreements, or conventions. Suppose India has made any particular vaccine delivery system, okay, but the health sector it comes under state list. So what will happen? The center can intervene, and that suppose this much amount of vaccine should be delivered. It's a treaty. So in order to achieve that, the center can intervene. It's just an example. Okay. During the fifth case and the last case is during president's rule. A law made by the parliament continues to be operate even after the president's rule. This is an important point. Okay. This means that the period in which such a law remains in force is not coterminous with the duration of president's rule. It doesn't mean that once the president's rule is over, the law will be repealed. Nothing like that. The constitution empowers the center to exercise control over the state legislative matters in the following ways. By who? Governor is there. Governor can reserve certain types of bills passed by the state legislature for the consideration of the president. The president enjoys absolute veto power over them. Okay, we will discuss veto power when we discuss about president chapter. Okay, nothing to worry about. The bills on certain matters in the state list can only be introduced in the state legislature only with the previous permission of the president, not even the governor. Okay. The center can direct the states to reserve money bills and other financial bills passed by the state legislature for the president's consideration during a financial emergency. The center can direct the states to reserve money bills or other financial bills passed by the state legislature. So, suppose state legislature is passing some money bills or financial bills. No need to worry. We will discuss it. Okay. What is money bills and what is financial bills? What is ordinary bills? All these things we will be discussing it. Okay. In the chapter Parliament. No need to worry about it. Okay. Passed by the state legislature for the president's consideration during a financial emergency. Now, we have discussed legislative relations. Now we come to the financial relations. Article 268 and 293 in part 12 of the Constitution deals with center-state financial relations. The Parliament has the exclusive right to levy taxes on subjects enumerated in the Union list. The state legislature has the exclusive power to levy taxes on the subjects enumerated in the state list. The 101st Amendment of 2016 has made an exemption by making a special provision with respect to what? GS2, that is goods and services tax. Distribution of tax reserves. The 80th Constitutional Amendment has enacted to give effect to the recommendations of the 10th Financial Commission. The Commission recommended that out of the total income obtained from certain central taxes and duties, 29% should go to the states. This was the first period. This is known as the alternative scheme of devolution. Now GST came. Now we will be discussing GST. What? GST, goods and services taxes. So GST was introduced by 101st Amendment Act. It introduced a new tax regime, new tax system. GST replaced a number of indirect taxes levied by the union and state governments and intended to remove cascading effect. Cascading effect is like tax over tax. Okay, cascading effect, just understand it. Okay, and provide for a common national market for goods and services. The amendment, what did it do? It deleted Article 268A as well as entry 92C in the union list. Both were dealing with service tax. They were added earlier by the 88th Amendment Act of 2003. Taxes levied by the center but collected and appropriated by the states includes checks, exchange, exchange checks, etc. They are not part of the consolidated fund of India but are assigned to the state. Taxes levied by the center but collected and assigned to the states. It is collected by the center but it is given to states. Tax on sale of purchase of goods, that is other than newspapers, in the course of interstate trade and commerce. Okay. Taxes on the consignment of goods, of course, in the interstate trade. Okay. The net proceeds of taxes that do not form part of the consolidated fund of India. They are assigned to the concerned state according to the principles laid down by the Parliament. GSTs on supplies in the course of interstate trade and commerce are levied and collected by the center, but it is divided between the center and state in a manner provided by the Parliament on the recommendation of what? GST councils. The Parliament will discuss GST councils. The Parliament at any time can levy the surcharge and proceeds exclusively. This goes to the center. Taxes collected on items mentioned in the state list also goes to the state government. Now, grants in aid to the states. First one, statutory grants. Article 275 empowers the Parliament to make grants to states in need. It is charged on what? On the consolidated fund of India. They are given to the states on the recommendations of the Finance Commission, another important body, Finance Commission. Discretionary grants, that is, there is a second type of grants. First is statutory, second is discretionary grants. Okay. Article 282 empowers both the center and the state to make grants for public purpose. They are called discretionary because the center is not under any obligation to give these grants and matters lie to its discretion. It can decide whether it should give or not. Okay. It is now recommended by Niti Aayog. Before it was by Planning Commission. Now GST Council. When we discussed GST, we saw that there was a GST supplies. It was divided between the center and the state in manner provided by the Parliament on the recommendations of GST councils, right? So what is GST councils? We need to look into that. Okay. GST council. The Article 279A empowered the President to constitute a GST council. It is just a recommendatory body. Now, Finance Commission. Finance Commission, Article 280 provides for the Finance Commission as a quasi-judicial body. Very important point. Quasi-judicial body. It is constituted by the President every 5th year, even earlier. It makes recommendations to the President. To who? The President. It makes recommendations to the President. And the Constitution envisages Finance Commission as the balancing wheel of fiscal federalism. The Supreme Court is in an advisory opinion held that the immunity, this is just extra points, held that the immunity granted to the state in respect to central taxation does not extend to the duties of customs and duties of excise. The center can impose customs duty on goods imported or exported by a state, or excise duty on goods produced or manufactured by a state. So sender can impose customs duty on goods imported or exported by a state, and also excise duty on goods produced on or manufactured by a state. Important point. In the case of national emergencies, President can modify the constitutional distribution of revenues between the center and the states. Okay, in the case of national emergencies, who can change? The President. This means that President can either reduce or cancel the transfer of finances from the center to the states. Such modification continues till the end of financial year in which the emergency ceases to operate. Financial year, we know that it starts from April to next year May. So in the middle of that, if emergency ceases to exist also, ceases to stop. Even after that also, even if it stops also, what happened? Modifications will continue. Okay, in a financial emergency, all emergency reserve, all money and financial bills for the consideration of the president. So with that, we finish the chapter on center state relations. So I hope today's lecture was productive for you guys. So until next time we meet again, God bless you all. Jai Hind.